you struggle with waking up early for school? Me too. I hit snooze all of the time before I get up out of the bed. However, I think this is a problem that could be resolved if school started later in the day, maybe around 9 a.m. Starting school later can help students' mental ability, one's health, and it's also more convenient. Putting a later start to school helps students' cognitive ability in many different ways. According to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, teenagers' school days should not start any earlier than 8:30 a.m. This allows teens to get the proper amount of sleep they need to learn at their highest ability. So, why does 75% of middle and high schools in the United States start up to an hour earlier than the recommended time? Many studies show that allowing students more sleep gives them the ability to concentrate more on their schoolwork rather than thinking of how they would rather be asleep or actually sleeping. Did you know that 33% of students in high school fall asleep in class and 22% fall asleep doing their homework, or 14% arrive late because they overslept? Students are more alert and their ability to memorize materials is much stronger when they're not tired. This shows that the times of school starts in the thousands. 1,000 schools in America start at 7:15, 11,000 start at 7:30, 11,000 also start at 7:45, 6,000 start from 7:46 to 8:15, and then only 3,000 start after 8:30, which is the recommended time. According to the National Sleep Foundation, adolescents who get insufficient amounts of sleep are more likely than their peers to get lower grades. A report published by the Brookings Institute associated a significant increase in test scores with later middle and high school start times, with their benefits roughly twice as great in disadvantaged students. A later start to school benefits a student's health mentally and physically. According to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, not getting enough sleep is common among high school students and is associated with several health risks, including being overweight, drinking alcohol, smoking tobacco, and using drugs, as well as poor academic performance. In a study, students who felt tense and unhappy also reported not getting enough sleep. Students with a late starting school time tend to have a higher immune system and improved athletic performance. Because of this, a student's risk of obesity, eating disorders, and diabetes is reduced. This shows teens need 8.5 to 9.25 hours of sleep each night. 2/3 of high school students get less than 7 hours of sleep. 43% of U.S. public high schools start before 8 a.m. 33% of teenagers report falling asleep in school. Lastly, a later start to school would be more convenient for everyone. It would reduce the number of tardies, truancy, and dropout rates. According to the U.S. National Library of Medicine, sleep is strongly linked with many psychiatric disorders, including depression and anxiety. Although sleep problems may be symptoms of mental health disorders such as depression, there's also evidence of a relationship between insufficient sleep and depression, as well as mood in general. According to Ann Wheaton of the CDC, starting school too early is not just a student complaint. It's an observation backed by science. Students who have jobs will have more time to work and complete all of their homework while still getting a full night's sleep. Research shows teens are better off rising later than falling asleep earlier. The number of car crashes could also decrease. Many students fall asleep while driving on their way to or from school or work, causing them to wreck. This can end in serious injuries or even death. In 2013, drowsy driving was responsible for 72,000 crashes, 44,000 injuries, and 800 deaths, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. When Jackson Hole High School in Wyoming shifted its time from 8:55 a.m., the number of car crashes involving teenagers dropped by 70%. If school started later, teens could excel in school. Though there are many reasons to why the starting time to school should be later, I believe the most important are improving students' mental ability, health, and making things more convenient.